The wall that divided a nation, the story of East and West Germany. Imagine a city divided in half, families torn apart, neighbors separated, and a nation that once stood strong now left broken into two. For almost 40 years, this wasn't some distant idea, it was the reality for millions of Germans. East and West Germany. One country, two worlds. 1945, the end of World War II. The world is left in ruins, and Germany is no exception. The Allies, the United States, the United Kingdom, France, and the Soviet Union win the war. But victory is bittersweet. The country that once led Europe is now shattered, both in spirit and in pieces. Berlin, its capital, stands in the heart of this chaos, deep within Soviet-controlled territory. To rebuild, the Allies carve up Germany into 4 occupation zones, each zone controlled by one of the 4 powers. Berlin, although located deep in Soviet territory, is divided into 4 sectors. The city's fate mirrors that of the country, fractured, divided. But as the years pass, a battle brews behind the scenes, not just over rubble and ruins, but over ideology. The Western Allies, the US and its partners, believe in democracy and free market capitalism. The Soviets, on the other hand, envision a communist utopia. Each side wants to reshape Germany and its image. As tensions mount between the Western powers and the Soviet Union, the world finds itself on the brink of a new kind of war, a cold one. And so, in 1949, the world sees the birth of 2 German states, the Federal Republic of Germany in the West, also known as West Germany, and the German Democratic Republic in the East, or East Germany. West Germany rises from the ashes, becoming a democratic, prosperous nation. With the help of the Marshall Plan, the West sees a remarkable economic recovery. Factories hum, the economy booms, and democracy takes root. West Germany joins NATO and the European Economic Community. A new chapter for the nation begins. Meanwhile, in East Germany, life is far different. The communist regime, backed by the Soviet Union, imposes strict control over every aspect of life. Industries are nationalized, and the government monitors its citizens through a secret police force known as the Stasi. The promised workers' paradise? It remains nothing more than a dream for many. The reality is repression, limited freedom, and constant surveillance. By the late 1950s, East Germany's regime faces a growing crisis, a flood of people trying to escape. Over the years, millions of East Germans cross into West Germany in search of freedom and opportunity. The wall of division begins to build, not of concrete, but of lives disrupted, families torn apart, and hopes dashed. And then, in 1961, the East German government makes a desperate move. With the approval of the Soviets, they build a wall, a barrier of concrete and barbed wire, to keep their people in. This wall, this brutal symbol of division, encircles West Berlin, cutting it off from the rest of East Germany. The Berlin Wall becomes the most powerful symbol of the Cold War. Families who once lived side by side in Berlin are now separated by a wall. The once thriving capital of Germany is now a city split in two, a place where dreams are shattered and human lives are divided. For almost 3 decades, the Berlin Wall stands as an iron curtain between East and West. But behind the wall, in the shadow of this division, something begins to change. People in East Germany grow restless. They want more than what they've been promised by their government. They want freedom. By the late 1980s, the winds of change are blowing across Eastern Europe. The Soviet Union, under Mikhail Gorbachev, begins to loosen its grip, introducing reforms like glasnost and perestroika. These changes inspire people across Eastern Europe, especially in East Germany, to demand change. Protests break out in East Germany, with people taking to the streets demanding greater freedoms, democracy, and the end of the regime. It's a moment of hope, of possibility. The wall, once thought unmovable, starts to show cracks. Then, on November 9, 1989, a series of miscommunications lead to a stunning moment. The East German government, under pressure, announces that East Germans can cross the border into West Berlin freely. What happens next is nothing short of historic. People rush to the Berlin Wall, gathering in massive numbers. And with hammers, with their hands, with their hearts full of hope, they tear the wall down. The Berlin Wall, the symbol of oppression, of division, of a broken nation, is no more. The people have reclaimed their city, their country, their freedom. Less than a year later, on October 3, 1990, Germany is reunified. The wall that once divided families, friends, and the entire nation has been reduced to rubble.